Hi everybody! Welcome to your weekly card class from Maine. I am Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper, and every Monday at 8 o'clock-ish, I come on and I share a really awesome card class with you featuring a bundle, usually from Stampin' Up. And tonight we are doing kind of a little bit of a repeater. So this may be kind of familiar to you if you tuned in with me last Monday night. Last week was a completely different week for me. We had my mystery host party going on all week. So last week I did share some things with the Frosted Forest bundle, but I only shared a couple of ways that you can use the masks, and I didn't actually make any cards. So we kind of went through the week playing some games, having a lot of fun. There was a lot of ordering going on, and we crowned Debbie Bragg, our mystery host, for the year 2024. So she earned $200 in free Stampin' Up product, which was really amazing. I had a really great group of girls that pooled their host rewards together, and I drew the name out of the hat, and it happened to go to Debbie. So congratulations again, Debbie. We just ended the party yesterday, actually. So it was a week long, lots of fun. I gave away lots of game prizes. I gave away 3 extra gift certificates in my mystery host party for anyone that ordered with me. So there really was a great chance to win something awesome. So I had a really good time with it. It is the last one that I will be doing with the Host Rewards program that Stampin' Up carries, because that's going to be changing soon. So if you're checking this out, make sure you say hi. Let me know you're in my craft room with me tonight, and that you can see and hear me okay. So again, we're going to do the Frosted Forest bundle. This week it's going to be an actual card class. I'm going to show you 4 cards with the bundle. We're going to do a little bit more with masks, but we're going to go beyond the masks. So we are going to focus on also the stamps and the dies. So I'm really excited to share this with you. We have a touch of autumn and maybe a little bit of Christmas coming in here as well. So hi Patty, thanks for letting me know we are good. Okay, so now that I know that we're good, we're going to get over to my workspace, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Frosted Forest bundle, because I am also featuring it for my August Card Maker Club. So last week I also shared the 4 cards for the August Card Maker Club. So if you're interested, if you love the Frosted Forest bundle, it's like an easy thing to do is to get the August kit and get tonight's card class, because you're going to have 8 different card ideas with the bundle, and there's going to be another one on Thursday. So in my Thursday email newsletter, I'm going to share a bonus card recipe that everyone gets, regardless if you order with me or you order the Card Maker Club. You're going to get all that good stuff. All right, so let's pop over to my workspace. Let me just find my switcheroo button here, and you're going to see that my workspace looks a little empty right now. So please continue to say hi as you jump on. I love to know who's hanging out with me. And the first thing we're going to talk about is some of the products that we're going to use tonight besides the Frosted Forest bundle. Maybe I should start actually with Frosted Forest. We love the Frosted Forest. I think there's a lot of people that have actually ordered Frosted Forest bundle. So it is a photopolymer stamp set. For tonight's class, I'm going to use everything but 2 stamps. I'm not using the little tree, and I'm not using the birthday wishes, which is probably the more common, actually it's probably my favorite sentiment on here. But those 2 things didn't make it into tonight's class. Everything else is going to be featured. We have the Great Dies, which are some dies that are going to cut out your stamped images, and then we have bonus dies that do extra things. We're really going to dive into the dies today. Now, you can get this as a bundle. This is the masks that come with it. So you're going to have masks for your deciduous tree and your big pine tree and your small pine tree. So these 3 trees you can easily color. You can stamp them, and they're beautiful just as they are, but you can also color them with the masks. Now, if you don't want the masks or the dies, you can just get the stamp set. You can just get the dies. You can just get the stamp set and the masks. Like you can like a la carte these, get them individually. But if you want the bundle, it is $64.75. You're getting all 3 things: the stamps, dies, and masks. Now my masks are in one of these little clear DVD cases that we sell. I use these for a lot of things, by the way. But the bundle is $164,137. It's $64.75. If you join August Card Maker Club and you want the bundle and you don't have it yet, I give it to you at the online price, $64.75, so you're not paying extra shipping or tax. So that's a little bit of a savings there. Depending on how your tax rate runs, it could be 17-18% savings. So as mentioned, I use these DVD cases for my embellishments. I should say my dimensionals. I use them for my chamois, and I use them for other things as well. So the set of 4, you can really you're going to go through so many things with these DVD cases that you're going to need a set of 8, to be honest. So we're going to dive into these cards. Oh, let's flip the page here. Frosted Forest card class. So with a $40 order, you're going to get 4 card kits. So let me show you the card kits tonight. We'll check out the card kits. Hi, Donna. It's good to see you hanging out with me. So these are what your card kits are going to look like. So you're going to see kind of some autumnal colors here, right? We got a little bit of copper. We've got a little blackberry bliss in that one with some twine. Here we've got pebbled path and moody mauve. So this is our DSP for this one, so you can kind of see where we're going. This card is going to have some espresso, peacock, crushed curry, basic gray, and we're kind of taking advantage of that particular designer series paper. This last one has the snowflake embossing folder, some of the winter meadow DSP. This one, high alert for everyone who loves Christmas cards. This is going to be a Christmas card. We've got some really great glittered organdy. This is the Night of Navy and Gold glittered ribbon. So these are the 4 card kits that we're working with this week. You'll be getting die cut pieces. You'll be getting some embossed pieces. In fact, every card tonight has an embossed piece. One of the embossed pieces is this new Birchwood 3D embossing folder I'm going to use on one of the cards. So I'm just kind of sharing with you a little bit of the product here as we get going and more people are jumping on. So this will be in the new upcoming fall mini catalog. So I've used this on one of the cards and you may have seen it. I gave everyone this PDF that you can print or save, and it has all of Stampin' Up's embossing folders listed. So it is in here, and I said that there was 3 of them in here that are brand new in the new catalog. So hopefully you've had a chance to check it all out, and you'll find that kind of a useful tool, but it will also give you a sneak peek if you haven't seen the catalog yet of some new embossing folders. When you order $40 or more, after your coupon, so if you're using your July coupons and your order comes to $40, you're going to get the card kits for free in the mail. If your order comes to $50 after your coupons, you're going to get the 4 card kits and this little embellishment. These are the 2023-25 in color opaque sparkle dots, and they have a sparkle and they are opaque, which is kind of nice, right? So we're going to take a peek here at them. So these are pebbled path, wild wheat, copper clay, boho blue, and moody mauve. So, and they have a little sparkle, there's like little glitter inside of them, and they're really sweet colors. They're going to go with a lot of things. So that's your freebie with your $50 order. My host code this week is YTBKEP7A. My card offers run basically the week, Monday through Friday. So if you can order by end of day Friday, you're going to get this class in the mail. Now, real quickly, we're going to kind of pop over here just for a second and check out some more of the products that I'm using tonight. So again, this is the Night of Navy and Gold glittered ribbon. So you may remember this from last year's fall catalog. It made it into the annual this year, which is really nice. I'm using a little bit of the copper clay jute twine from the 23-25 in color collection. That's making it onto a card. I've got a couple of these labels from the Greetings of the Seasons dies. And we're also using the For You right here for the Greetings of the Season sentiments, because I wanted to change up the sentiments that we have just from the Frosted Forest. I needed something a little more Christmassy, but not quite Christmassy, and that one really fit the bill. And you're gonna wait till the end to see that one. I'm gonna make you wait till the end. Now again, Card Maker Club for August, we are making cards with the Frosted Forest bundle. You're also getting half a pack of the To Market DSP. You're getting these adhesive backed metallic gems. You're getting a full bolt of the cream ribbon. So this comes with your card kits, and you get to cut the paper and add all the embellishments and ribbons. And one more time, these are the cards that you're making with Card Maker Club. So you're seeing these cards right here that work with the Frosted Forest bundle, and you're basically getting a whole bunch of things, but you're also expected to use the bundle to do the trees, die cutting and stamping, anything from Frosted Forest. You get 2 each of 4 designs with the club, and that is a really, if you're interested in that, check it out. There's a lot of great details I have online on that one, and it's really awesome. So I highly recommend. All right, so we're going to jump into our first card. I'm going to grab it out here as we get going, and let me know if you're watching this on replay, because I'd love to know who's hanging out later on tonight to check out replay. So our first card kit has some copper clay, And we are using designer series paper from Wildly Flowering. Now this doesn't look very wildly flowering, I'm sure, but it really is. And I see Donna B. Hi Donna. So thanks for jumping on tonight. This is the Wildly Flowering, but we're actually going to be using, we're keeping it muted. We're kind of keeping some fall colors here. So you've got a couple of pieces here. You've got a wild pop of Blackberry Bliss. This is embossed with the Timber 3D embossing folder. So as mentioned, every card tonight is going to have a little bit of embossing. You're getting a little bit of twine, a die cut shape out of copper, and there should be another one in here. Haha, it's stuck in the envelope. If you're ever in doubt, check the envelope twice. So these, as mentioned earlier, are the Greetings of the Seasons die. So you're getting your little sentiment pieces are going to come die cut for you. So let me show you how awesome this first card is. Let me put my envelope aside, and here it is. This is the for you. I'm sorry, this is the thank you card. I shouldn't be looking away from my card. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm in camera view here and checking out. Kathy's here. Hi Mary, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Okay, so this is our first card. So very autumnal, right? We're going to actually do some stamping and some blending here. That pop of purple just really sets this card off. It's giving us a little bit of the unexpected. There are two cards tonight that I am trying to do a little bit of unexpected work. So we're gonna roll with that. My colors for this card are Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Cajun, Craze, and Copper Clay. Now, I always thought that Cajun and Copper were very similar color tones, but Cajun is way more reddish orange, and Copper is definitely more brown. This is a warmer color. This is kind of a cooler, brighter color. So they really look so different. And we're going to be using all of these colors on this card. So let's get going. We're going to start with this piece of white right here. And this is where we're going to do our magical stamping. We're going to start with the deciduous tree. And I kind of shared this last week, so some of this may be like a little bit of a repeat because I actually am using the image that I played with last week. So we're going to, whether you want to do it that way with your stamp facing up or down, you're going to just ink up your deciduous tree with the Early Espresso ink. Now when you stamp this, we're not going to die cut this one. So we want to kind of keep this evenly on our paper, which you have plenty of room for. So we're going to get a nice image here, and I'm going to peel this off because it sticks a little bit. So you can see you have room to get that nice image in there. Actually, I'm going to real quickly take a little cleaning. Where's my cleaner? I pulled it out to show you that I kept it in a case and then I lost it. So we're going to just move that up slightly, and I'm going to clean this real quick. So here we go, deciduous tree, beautiful in Early Espresso. It gives you the outline of the tree. Now you could certainly, you could even stamp this in Memento. One thing I haven't tried yet, which I've been playing with this a bit and I haven't tried it yet, but you can also stamp this in Memento and then color it with your blends. You could color, stamp this in any color and color it with your markers as well. So now we're going to bring in the masks because we are coloring with masks, and I absolutely love these. We're going to use the 3 for the deciduous tree. So there's 3 of them, and they go in a nice little order as well. So let me just pop my camera back over on my screen. And hi Jess, good to see you too. Okay, so we're going to start with Pecan Pie, and we're going to start with mask number 1. So in the corner here, this little notched corner, there's directions, right? The directions are 1, 2, and 3. We're going to pop this on here, and I'm just lining this up. Now you can, temporary tape this down. You can do all kinds of things. I'm just a line it up and go kind of person. So we're lining it up and we're going to go. So I've got my pecan ink, I've got my blending brush. I've got this lined up. The only thing I'm holding down, basically, you can grab the paper underneath your mask and just hold on to it. I don't think you really need to secure it more than that. And this is, if you're making a lot of these cards, you definitely are going to want to be able to kind of pick this up and keep going. So here we go. We have a beautifully barked tree. So here we go. First step was the pecan pie, and that was super simple, right? I mean, I think the hardest thing here, which isn't really hard at all, is that you have to stop and clean off your masks when you're done. So we're going to go on to mask number 2, which is right here. So here's my 2, which may be really hard to see. Once again, I'm just going to line this up around the tree's leafy line image, and we're going to come in here first with Cajun Craze. And I debated which one I would want to use first, but we're going to use Cajun Craze. I'm going to find my Cajun Craze stamping blend, and we're going to bring this in. And the fun part about this is you can You can put higher and lower colors in here, so you can add a lot of colors in some areas and maybe kind of leave some a little bit lighter or softer. But we do definitely want to get some of that color, a little bit of that color everywhere. So I was kind of softer in some places, and I just really, really love the Cajun Craze look there. So hopefully you guys are seeing this and loving it too. I think the masks are really what is selling this bundle because they're just so amazing. We're going to come in with the last color, Copper Clay, and this is mask number 3. And this is just going to give us these kind of highlights in our tree. Now, if you love this and you wanted to stop right now because you're like, whoa, that is beautiful, let's not put another ink on it, I totally would not blame you for stopping right here, because I really think that's pretty too. But we're gonna just add a little bit more in here. I'm gonna just adjust my mask however I feel like maybe it's gonna work best on my tree. I'm not specifically lining up the notches and being all fancy with it. And this is Copper Clay. So let me just put a little bit of Copper Clay in here. And this is going to deepen down some of our tree here. So we'll just add a little bit of Copper Clay in, pick up the mask, and there we have it. And it does add a lot, doesn't it? It's just so beautiful. I love that we've done this. So there is our tree, just like that. And we are now going to assemble the card. Oh, I should leave this one open. I always put my ink away before I'm completely done. We're doing thank you on this little tag that's coming into your card kit. So this little thank you is part of the Frosted Forest bundle. I had to pause for a second while I thought about my placement of thank you, and that works out so sweetly. I love it. Okay, so now we're basically on to assembly of our card. So instead of die cutting this, now there is a die that would die cut this. We're just going to use it just like this to show you that if you bought just the stamp and the masks, you're going to get this. You don't have to die cut anything. I mean, you could fussy cut this if you wanted to as well, but we're just going to put this on our card and it's going to be absolutely stunning. So this is a card where I'm not going to recommend you use the side right here. I got to find some glue. I don't think I had glue prepared. Let's hope that we have enough glue in here. I feel like I had a new one at some point most recently. So we're going to just put some adhesive on the back of our DSP. We're going to make sure we know which way it opens, even though at this point this paper is kind of like a tweed. It's a very plain tweed. It's not quite gray, not quite brown, it's kind of a taupey tweed, I would say. There's a little bit of a pattern in it. So we're just putting this right onto our card base, and then we're going to decide which of these lovely embossed timber Blackberry Bliss is going to come down here on our card front as well. And I'm just putting this here so that it pops out here, a little bit of popping color. So we're going to do that and check it out. And I'm just making sure again that I'm in camera, because sometimes I get crazy and I go all over the place. We're going to mount or mat this, I should say. This is our piece that we just colored so sweetly and very simply, right? Like that was way simpler than getting out all of your blends or your markers or your watercolor, whatever you want to do, right? I just find that the masks make things so simple. And I wasn't really expecting that actually either, the ease of the masks. So I'm going to pop this piece up with some dimensionals because I do like to add a little bit of height. It adds a lot of interest on our card. And I think I'm going to maybe go along all of the outside. Let me see if that's going to be enough. I don't know. I never know how many is enough, right? And then I go crazy. So that's okay. We're going to go crazy today. So here we go. We're going to just grab off all these little backings from our dimensionals. And then we're going to pop this onto our card front. So we're covering up a little bit of a blackberry. So some of that's meant to be covered. It's really just meant to be kind of like a peek at something different, which is certainly what it is, right? So we're going to layer this. Now you're going to see that the blackberry is not quite as tall as the copper mat here. So don't think you have to line them up perfectly. There's going to be a little bit like 1/8 of an inch off. And then we've got those centered really nicely on there. Now we need to put together our little tag that we made. So this is the tag right here. We're just gonna, these Greetings of the Seasons dies come with these, every die in the die set has this little hole, the little holes in it, right? So you can make them into actual tags. So I'm going to send you along some jute twine. This is the Copper Clay color. So in your card kit, you're getting about 6 inches of jute, which is really curly. Oh, I meant to glue these down. You don't have to glue these down, but I am going to put a little glue there because otherwise they're just not going to lay nicely. They're going to be all over the place. So I'm going to glue the white stamped thank you. That's what I tried to do. I tried to add a little glue, sneak a little glue in there, and I'm just going to have to make sure it's, come on, baby. There we go, snug. All right, so now we've got our little jute twine through the little peekaboo holes there. We're going to attempt our best attempt. Maybe I should line these up more evenly. We're going to attempt to make like a little, we're going to kind of loop it around here and make a little knot, but not super tight, right? So we're going to kind of come through here, have a little room here on the end because it's just cute to make this cute little, it's just decorative and fun. And we're going to trim this off quite a bit because you can see here that I left it long so that you could work with it. And it kind of sheds a little bit, so that's why I'm wiping the little fibers from the twine. All right, so now we're going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of our little sentiment piece. And isn't it the cutest? So anytime you have a tiny sentiment, these dies are like perfect to kind of sneak on here. So we're going to just put this on here so that it pops off just slightly off of our paper and hits the bark right here, just like that. And then what I did here is I actually put a glue dot under the knot of the twine so that it wasn't like super flying around and crazy, right? The autumn winds will blow. So I kind of decided where I might want that to go and put a little glue dot down onto my project. And then I'm going to catch the knot of that little bow kind of off to the side. And then we're going to come in with some chunky scissors here and we're going to just trim it. Now, if it hangs off the edge a little bit, cool, right? It doesn't have to, it's still going to fit in your envelope because it's going to kind of wrap over, but it just gives a little bit of just something different, right? A little bit of pizzazz. I'm going to call it pizzazz. We have some pizzazz on this card, and I really like this card a lot. Like, I love this color combination. I searched for a bit. I searched to see what pop of color would look here. I think there's other colors that would also be really cute. So don't be afraid to play with your color, and it's a good way to use up your little scraps. Just emboss them and add them behind something, and it just adds a lot of interest to your card for sure, and also helps you to get rid of some of your papers that you just, if you're like me, you just can't part with many of them. Like, oh, I could use that 1/2 inch paper somewhere, that inch paper. Go for it, right? I mean, you paid for all the paper. You might as well use as much of it as you can. So I'm just adding in the copper clay embellishments, which look a little bit orangey to me. I think they're going to be, these are really great fall colors, by the way. So that is card number 1. Just like that, we're done with card number 1. I think it's really a beautiful card. I hope you guys are agreeing that you're loving it. I'm going to come over and check you guys out on the comments. And I see that you do love it. That's awesome. So our class is off to a really good start. Like, we just did a card and it's beautiful. So there is card number 1. And of course, every time you do it, your colors are you can't possibly sponge exactly the same every time. So each card that you send is going to be unique. And that's the best thing about handmade cards, is how unique they really, really are. All right, we're going to go on to card number 2 now. And for card number 2, again, all of these cards have a little bit of autumn to them. A lot of them are going to feature the 23-25 in colors because this is your gift with your $50 order, and these are going to go on all of our cards, and some of them you could mix and match. For example, here we go with Pebbled Path. We got a little bit of Moody Mauve, so you could use the Moody Mauve dots, you could use the Pebbled Path dots, so you have options here for sure. So we have in your card kit a Pebbled Path base. You have that Birchwood, that brand new embossing folder that I showed you earlier. That's a brand new one. You've got some white, some more pebbled. So basically, it's kind of a two-tone card. You've got some stylish shapes, dies, and you've got this paper. And you know what's fantastic about this paper? This is Country Woods DSP. You could use either side. And I love when I can get you a designer series paper that matches either side. So I think that's really fantastic. Let me see if I can find my card so I can show it to you. And here it is. So we're going to combine our deciduous tree with some bonus dies, and we're going to make this beautiful card right here. So again, that nice peachy, pinky, that nice pinky color, which I absolutely love. And if you caught one of the cards from the Card Maker Club for August, you're going to see here that we have similar tones but different. This is kind of taking more of the berries. This is Blackberry Bliss, and this is Pebbled Path. So you can make similar cards but completely different. So depending on what colors you're using, there's just so many options out there, and we are going to get going on this. So we're going to do a little bit of sponging, and we got to do some stamping, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do first. I've got so many things here going on. All right, so here's what we're going to do first. We're going to sponge this. I need to bring in some paper though, because this is going to get messy a bit. So let me bring in some paper, and we'll hide some. I don't want to hide our things, but because then I'll lose them. So here we're going to start with the only two inks we're using for this card are Pebbled Path and Moody Mauve. So again, it's kind of that, it's not monotone because it's not one color. What would it be called if there's two colors and that's it? I need to know the word for that. So here's our Moody Mauve blending brush in our ink. And what we're going to do, instead of being really heavy on the outside edges, which I normally do, we're going to kind of come up and down on this one because I really want to take advantage of the birchwood embossing part more so than I'm not trying to just do the outside edges. So I want to just kind of come up and down and kind of catch all of those pieces right that are kind of bumped up a little bit rather than go around. Normally I'm going around doing all of the outside edges. So we're just deepening that down, and it is absolutely beautiful. All right, the mauve will come back. We're not done with mauve yet, but let's bring in Pebbled Path because we have a few things to stamp with Pebbled Path. Let me grab out my little white stylish shape die cut, which is coming into your kit. We're using the stamp from the Frosted Forest. It says, "No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart." Now this is going on a square, so that makes things easier. What I want you to do with your kit though, when you work with this one, I want you to stamp it quite a bit to the right, okay? Because we need room for our tree to come here. So we want to keep this farther onto the right. So we're done with that part. Now let's bring in the paper. This paper right here is going to be our tree. So we're going to bring in that tree again, and we used it on our last card. So I have it right here. I cleaned it. We remember that I cleaned it, so that's good, right? And we're using Pebbled Path this time. So the first card we had Early Espresso. This time we're kind of coming in with the darker gray colors. I'm getting ink everywhere, so that's a good sign. And then we're going to just go ahead and stamp this on here. Now this time, you can center it, but we're going to die cut it. So we are going to take care of the die cutting on this one. So there is our gray on that one. I'm just going to sense my cleaners out here real quick. We're just going to pop this onto the cleaner. I got ink all over my block, all over the place, probably on my fingers, probably going to get to places I don't want it to be. But after this card, we are done with Deciduous Tree. So I can move that right out of the way and we're good there. All right, so let me just make sure we're doing good over here. All right, so we have our Deciduous Tree. Now we're going to do the die cutting for this one. Let's do our die cutting. Then we're going to do some more awesome stuff too. So for the die cutting, you're actually going to be die cutting 3 different things. So you do need the bundle to do the die cutting. You need the dies basically. I mean, the bundle's the way to go. It's going to save you more money. You save 10% when you bundle. So when you use the bundled prices, that's a good thing. So these 2 pieces right here, I unearth all of my dies again. So on the Pebbled Path, we're going to go ahead and die cut this little tree. So it's kind of like a stick deciduous tree, which I actually die cut earlier, so I'm not going to do it again, but I want to show you what you would be die cutting. On this Moody Mauve, you're die cutting this branch piece right here. So you've got this piece right there, and then the last one, the one that we're going to really focus on right now, is going to be the deciduous tree, and we're going to line this up here just like so, and then we're going to send this through our die cutting machine. Now, of course, you could fussy cut this too, but you can't fussy cut the stick tree or the little leafy leaves, the pile of leaves basically that go on top of this one. So sometimes it is best to get all of the things. Now I cut this off terribly. I didn't tape it, wasn't paying much attention. So I have a whole bunch of stamped image up here. And it's okay, because on this one, we're really covering pretty much everything up. So if we hadn't even stamped it, it would still be okay. So by the magic of TV, we've got the 2 pieces here that we die cut. So we have this one right here, which is this shape, which is going to be our little trees. I mean our leaves. And we have this one, which is our little stick tree. So before I move everything off of my my mat here because I feel like it's really hard to see things probably on this. But we are going to do a little bit more sponging. So we're bringing in Pebbled Path, and we're going to bring in, let's see, do I have a Pebbled Path something here? Pebbled Path right here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to darken down our tree here a little bit. So this is one where you want to kind of be careful. If you rub it the wrong way, it's going to bend up on you because it's so tiny. It's like it's really tiny. But we're just going to throw a whole bunch of ink on here. It's going to darken that quite down a bit. If I bring in my original paper, again, the cardstock paper, you can see the difference because it's going to be a lot darker after you add the ink. So this is going to go right on here, and then we're going to do the same thing basically with the Moody Mauve die cut piece. Now when this piece comes out, I recommend running this through your cutter back and forth a couple of times. There's some very intricate pieces in here, and I didn't pull all of them out on purpose because sometimes it's easier to glue this if some of them just stay stuck in. So don't feel like you have to nitpick every little piece out, but if you run it through your die cutting machine, you know, a couple of 3 times would be great, and that way it'll pop out a little bit easier, but it does stay into one piece, which is nice. This big piece in the middle does come out. And now we're just going to kind of brush on some of this Moody Mauve. And basically, I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm leaving some of it uncolored so that we have a variation of the colors coming through here. So hopefully you can see that some of it's not quite completely colored in, so you don't have to color in the whole thing, which kind of makes it a little bit quicker, right? If you're making a whole bunch of cards and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no time for this. All right, so let's do some gluing. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because these are very thin. So you have to be kind of very not too generous with your ink. So I find that it's just easier to add on the tiniest little dots and not everywhere. But this is going to come right up the tree here, as it should. And how cool is that, right? If you were trying to do kind of like maybe a black and white kind of, you know, monotone, you could definitely just do the stamping, do this and leave it like that. That would be kind of awesome too. We're going to add in, so again, I'm going to just kind of dot along here wherever I feel like dotting. And if it goes through the other side, I'll swipe it off a little bit. So just adding in a little bit of glue. And I found that it was easier to go back in after I put this on and then kind of adjust a little bit more glue as needed. So this just comes up here. So the stamped image that we die cut is just kind of our template for gluing on the pieces for the stick there and then the leaves. So here I would be like, okay, so this is kind of floating up in the air a little bit. I would bend this back a little bit gently, add a little bit of glue, and then kind of hold it down. Same thing for over here. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Julie, if you use those embossing or those sticker sheets, it could be a giant sticker. And that's true, but also the sticker sheets, when you have a lot of little holes like this, kind of make it hard to poke out all of the little pieces too. So there's pros and cons to everything. I found that just kind of coming back through and finding which pieces may need, you know, sticking up a little bit farther than I want. So I just bend them backwards just the slightest bit, tiny little bit of glue, and we should be good. So the thing is tiny glue. So you have to think tiny, tiny glue. Otherwise you're gonna have glue all over your fingers and everywhere, and it just doesn't quite work out so nicely. All right, when we glue this together, these are our sentiment pieces right here, the die cut stylish shapes right here. We have 2 of them. I'm also going to ask you to, we're not centering them. This might seem really weird. We are keeping our sentiment piece, once again, kind of close to the edge. So I'm going to hold this up for so you can see. We're keeping it over here to the right. So once again, we have to have room for our tree to kind of fit on here just like this. So if we had centered it, you're going to run out of room on your card. That's what I'm going to say. You're going to run out of room. All right, so now that we got all of our pieces and parts and all the good things here, we are going to put this one together. And I'm just going to make sure one more time. I just try to keep popping over here to my camera. Nothing bothers me more than to do a nice card class and then watch it later and go, oh my gosh, I worked way too high for my camera view. All right, so here is our card opening this way. We're going to put this nice white mat down first, easy peasy. And then we're going to layer down our birchwood embossed piece. So you can hopefully see the difference between the ink side and the uninked side. So we're going to just add a little bit of ink, add a little bit of adhesive here. And we're going to pop this down too. And just like that, I love the matte. I love mattes and layers, so this one has some mattes and layers. Now, if you wanted to, you could use this side. Let's do a quick dry fit just to see how it would look. So you've got this piece that's going to come across here. Oh, my fingers have just the tiniest bit of glue on them. They're not super gluey, but they're enough to pick up something. As it happens again, I'm trying to kind of rub them and get the glue off. All right, so this is going to come up here, and I feel like this would be really, I think I could change this. That's what I feel like. All right, let's try it out. You know, sometimes if you followed me, sometimes I'm doing these live card classes and I just decide in the middle of a card to mix it up a little bit. I think I want this side to be down. It has a little bit of like a lighter color running through there, a little variation. So we're going to just put this all the way down to the bottom of our pink embossed piece. And you're thinking, well, why did you send us all this pink embossed piece? Well, you know what? Sometimes I know you do different things with your card kits. And I decided I might as well just send you a whole page. So you can do whatever you want with it. And the reality is right here, you could stamp anything on there, add another element. If you didn't use the trees, you would have a really beautiful card just like that. We're going to pop this up though. We're not done. We're going to pop this up with some dimensionals, which I set aside. So I'm going to grab these back out. Fortunately, I didn't set them too far aside. So I know that a lot of you have loved this bundle. I have seen a lot of orders going through for it, which is fantastic. Now remember, if you are in the August Card Maker Club, you can choose to get this one at the online price. So let me know if you do want that, because I'll be ordering them for you. All right, so here is this beautiful card with this popped up, and now we're going to glue this on, but we do need a little bit of dimensionals added in, and actually we're also going to take advantage of the minis. So we're going to bring in the minis here because the minis are going to go on the tree trunk, and they do actually fit really nicely, which was the most pleasant surprise. I think if you line them up properly. So you have to pay attention to your edges and the way that these little hexagon shapes are. So if you put the flush straight edges, you can get a couple of them on there and it works out really nicely. Now the third dimensional that I'm going to use is going to be a big one, and we're going to just use it. We just have to wait and see where this is going to be on our card. We're going to put it right in this corner here, right where this kind of flops down. We're going to put one right here, and we're going to snug it to that. So we know that that's going to sit there. We have our other dimensionals on the back here, and then the rest of this is going to be glued to our square die cuts with my favorite stylish shapes. I love these ones a lot. All right, so a little bit of adhesive there, and that's going to catch right here on my card, and we're going to kind of come this way with it. So you got to decide how far up or down you want to go, keeping in mind your sentiment is fixed, right? It's at a fixed point. There we go. We did it. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Now we need to add some of the bling bling. And this time, I think I'm going to have to go with the pink again, because I was going to try to change it up and do the bling in the pebbled path. But now that I have so much gray on here, I don't think I have the option. So I am going to bring in more of the Moody Mauve. And we're going to put in, so the Moody Mauve are going to kind of pop. They're going to show up a little bit better right there. And then we'll put this one up here, which, you know, if you want to mix and match, the gray could go up there so that it shows up a little bit better. But here we go. Oh my gosh, I need to know which one you like better. The original, this is the original, or the changed up version. I need to know which one you prefer. How cool is that? I really like this one. I don't know. I think I like the change version better. It's so funny because I'll change it and then I'll change my mind. You know, it's change. I guess it's all about change because seriously, autumn is coming and change. Okay, Donna likes the original. That's awesome. Hi, Linda. Glad you are jumping on. This is card number 2 of our Frosted Forest class tonight. Really like this one. I like this one a lot. All right, so that's card number 2. We're going to pop on to card number 3, and then after that we have card number 4. So 2 more cards coming along here. So let's do the next card kit. Make sure I have everything out of my envelope. So So your card kits come to you with your card base scored already. So that's awesome. Patty likes card number. Donna B likes both, but change is awesome. Patty likes card 1. And Donna, you don't have to spell. We all know what you're talking about. Sometimes it's hard to type fast and watch at the same time. All right, so here we have a little bit of a mix. We have a thick white card base. You're getting some basic gray, some pretty peacock, some crushed curry. This is your emboss piece with the dashing designs embossing folder. A little bit of espresso. Look at this masculine card we've got going on here. Look at these colors. Look how beautiful they go together. I love to play with. Did I mention I like color? I love colors so much. All right, so here is our card kit. Let me get back over here so I can make sure that you guys can see it. Check out this beautiful card, right? So every card that I'm making and sharing during class is going to have a different layout. I always try to mix them up, mix up my layers, mix up the sizes of my layers so that you can get lots of ideas and inspiration when you're watching. Now this one is going to have a lot of just glue it together and go. So we're going to start. Oh, I wanted to point out that technically, you could flip this one too and create this card with this side. However, I really, really, really like the yellow and the gray that's running through this Country Woods Designer Series paper, and that's why I brought the yellow in. So because I like the yellow, I am not changing. We already did one change on the Designer Series paper, so we're going to stick to the original, and we're just going to glue these down together real quick. So your DSP is going to mat to your basic gray. I think I was a little crazy here with the glue at the top, so we'll come back through later and clean that up. And this is just going to go down straight onto our card base. Now I'm using this as kind of a template because it's going to come up here this way, so you can see there's room on the bottom for our stamping. I forgot to tell you our ink colors are basic gray, pretty peacock, and crushed curry. Aren't these pretty colors together? Like, woohoo! I had a lot of fun with the color wheel last week, and now I just can't stop playing with new color combinations. All right, so pretty peacock, and we're using the sentiment that says, thinking of you and how you strengthen my life. Now, if you wanted to just say thinking of you, you can mask, you know, cover this part with washi tape or tape, ink it up, and then pull the tape off. And because this would be clean, you would only get thinking of you. So this could also say thinking of you as well. Not as well, but also. You know what I mean. Okay, moving on. This is going to be our pretty peacock ink. And I wanted to bring the peacock ink kind of as, again, once again, that pop of unusual color, right? So I'm going to bring this down here and kind of come right about there, using this kind of as a guide so that I know how far up or down I can go on my card front. Now, the reason I didn't glue anything down when I stamped this, before I stamped this, I should say, is that if I really mess this up, I could rearrange my card, I could bend it a different way, and then I could try it again, right? We can cover up this part somewhere, middle, back, whatever. But now that I know I have a nice inked image here, I can actually glue this down with confidence. And we are good to go. Now you have to decide which way you want this to go. I like the yellow to be on the right side because we're covering up a bit of the left side, so the yellow will still kind of show up if I put it this way with the yellow streaks. Now all of the Designer Series paper, depending on where it's cut for you, will be a little bit different, but I'm going to make sure that everyone gets yellow in their kit so that this really works. I want these things to work for you. All right, let's add a little bit of fun to our emboss piece here. So I want you to see that this is what it looks like when it comes to you, and this is what it's going to look like after we add all kinds of ink to it, because I love to play with the ink. We're going to bring in our messy paper one more time, and we're going to do a couple of colors. We're going to do gray and crushed curry. So we're going to start with a crushed curry. We're going to make this really pop with our crushed curry blending brush. I love the blending brushes. I was a sponge wedge girl for the longest time. I actually still have them all. But now that Stampin' Up! Doesn't do the sponge wedges anymore, which I do kind of miss still. I'll use them randomly. Now I'm getting into the brushes and then of course the daubers. So there's a mix and match here. So I'm deepening this deeply. I'm deeply deepening this. I don't know if that's really correct grammar, but there's a lot of color going on in here and it's totally different than it used to be. Now I'm going to come in with some basic gray and we're going to have a little bit more fun. So for this one I'm going to use a dauber because I don't want a lot of ink. I just want to catch the edges and just kind of deepen down the edges a little bit. Now putting the gray on after the yellow kind of turns it greenish brown. So it's definitely a different mix. So if you were looking at this without knowing that I'm using basic gray on top of crushed curry, you might think, what green did you use? And I didn't. I'm just changing the edges of that just to add all kinds of interest. So after we add this to our pretty peacock, we're going to put this on here and put this down on here. It looks so much better than if you didn't ink it at all. I think the crushed curry, as lovely as yellow is, sometimes it needs a little boldness help. We're going to go with that. Now before I glue this together, don't glue this together yet. We're going to actually play with the trees, and I brought in a different color, Early Espresso. I was originally going to use basic gray because I thought, you know, we'll just use basic gray, but then I thought, no, we're going to change it up because color. Like, I love all the colors that are coming into here. So on this piece that you're getting at home, you're going to use this tree line, which I love. It might be my favorite thing in the set right now. And you're going to see that this is a little bit longer. The die is longer than your paper, and that's okay because all I want you to do is die cut this through, and this is what you're going to end up with. So I already die cut this, but I didn't pop it out of the paper yet. So it's going to look like this when you first get it, and then you're going to have to pop it out, which is kind of fun, right? And we're gonna get all the little pieces popped out of here. And the trees are staying connected together, which is really nice. And I have a couple of hanger-oners here, so let's bring in this brush real quick, and we'll get rid of that. And then I'm going to show you how this works on your card. So right here is what you've got left over. Someone had mentioned last week this would be great on Halloween cards. Of course, it's also great for Christmas cards as well, right? So you get the winter white trees, which is fantastic. Let me get rid of the scraps. So we are going to actually put this on my card, on your card, I should say. I'm doing my card, you do yours. And we're going to line this up just like this so that we get the 3 trees here, so you can see them here. And then we're going to trim off the excess. So I only need to add glue onto the trees themselves, a little bit of glue, just a few dots here and there to kind of catch some of these little branches. Gently, gently, easy. I'm kind of just dotting it on. I don't have a lot of squeezing pressure going on when I'm adding the glue. I'm kind of letting what comes out come out. All right, so then once we got that, we're going to kind of dot down through the trunks here a little bit so you can see how delicate these little dots are, but they're powerful little dots as well. And we're going to just kind of come through here and catch the bottom, and then we're going to turn this over. We still have this handle where we have 0 glue. So 0 glue right here. And we're going to bring this in, and we're going to put this, I put it down flush to the bottom, making sure that my trees are lined up. So I'm focusing on the bottom part first, where the trees, this like bank of let's say it's lawn. The lawn is going to hit the bottom here. So I haven't even pushed down the trees yet. I just want to focus on getting that done first, because if I need to move it and I've got the trees down, it just becomes really hard to get rid of all these little delicate glued on pieces. So focus on the bottom and then work your way to the top. Just like that. It's that simple. And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to trim off any excess hanging. So this is why you don't want to put this piece down onto your pretty peacock layering mat. My English is backwards today. There we go. So now this can go onto the pretty peacock mat. Otherwise you'd be trying to trim that and it would just be really hard to get that part off of there. So this can come all together now. Our nice little matted pieces. Some adhesive on the back of that. We're centering it right onto pretty peacock. Really great color combinations. Hope you guys are liking this little kind of nod to autumn, but not completely, right? This could be, I feel like this could be a really good sympathy card. Of course, you could change colors as well, but I feel like you could use this for sympathy cards as well as masculine birthday cards. So this is just coming on here flat. I didn't bump any of this up. I thought, you know what? Sometimes I don't go all dimensional. Sometimes I just go flat, 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 and I'm always glad to have a few cards on hand that aren't super, you know, thick. We have plenty of layers going on here, so we don't need to go super crazy. Now the little birds, we haven't done the birds yet, and we haven't played with them at all. So you can see here, birds, no birds. So birds are obviously optional. If you think this is beautiful just like it is and you don't want to add the birds, perfectly fine. But I wanted to share with you how awesome and cute the little birdies are. So I've got a piece of, let's call this gray granite. This is gray granite. And I'm using basic gray ink. And this little birdie, we're going to stamp, you get one stamp, but 2 dies. So we're going to stamp this guy twice, just like that in the basic gray. And let me set that aside. And then I'm going to pop these aside, like cut them apart, right? And we have 2 teeny tiny little bird dies. So I'm just going to grab them out and show you. Teeny tiny bird dies, which you get to line up. Can I find my other die? Where did it go? Where's my bird? Here it is. It got lost. There's a lot of dies here. So you can see here you've got 2 dies, right? 1 bird stamp. So that kind of makes it nice because then you can do 2 at the same time. Now I already die cut them so I could save on that step. So we have our 2 little birdies here, but they look completely different from my birdies over here. As you can see, if I put them on here, you can see how different they are. Let me just move these aside so I don't lose all my teeny tiny parts and pieces. So what I did was I brought in some pretty peacock ink. And I made them, they have just like a little bit of blue. Now I did, first, to be honest, on these ones over here, I started with the basic gray and I made them gray. And I thought, no, they need a little bit of color. So the reason I like to do that is because the outside edge sometimes looks really plain because the die cut leaves some surround. So I thought, you know, let's add a little pizzazz here. So I'm just going to cover a little bit of this. Not a lot. You don't want to cover all your stamping up, right? But just by putting that little bit of blue on there, it kind of gives us the continuity here of the peacock on our card and also makes them stand out a little bit better. It just gives them that, they just need a little flair, right? So we're just going to add this in here just like this. And there we go. And you can, even though the stamp goes, basically, it looks best one way, you can definitely put them in here so that they actually do kind of almost look like they can be flying together in different directions and what have you. So all I did here was I just glued these guys down. I didn't dimensionalize them either. So I'm going to just put them on here real quick. Hopefully that stays right there. Sometimes I prefer to glue my paper and then add an element on top rather than put glue, especially when it's a tiny one like this. Now, of course, this is a handy tool. The putty end, you can pick it up and put it on. That's also very handy for this card. So we're coming to this card right here. You could probably add the blue, the boho blue. It doesn't clash, but it's also not quite as dark. So I really did like the pebbled path dots here, and I put them kind of in a row just across this way. I tried to find a triangle formation that would work, and to be honest with you, I didn't want it to look like the birds were pooping. So hopefully that's not offending anyone. I have chickens and ducks, so I see that all day long. I didn't want it on my card, so I put the dots down here in a nice little row, and then the birdies are just flying in the sky and no one has to think about things that I just mentioned. So hopefully I didn't offend anybody. But there is card number 3, and you just never know what's going to come out of Julie's mouth. So there we go. Card number 3. I really like this one a lot. There's some really great masculine colors here. So think of this color combination for your masculine cards if that's where you need to go with something. All right, so now we're going to move on to our final card. Now, you know I leave the showstopper usually to the end, and I hope that you've enjoyed autumn because we had a brief 3-card stroll through some autumn colors. We're going to go a little bit Christmassy now because this set, right? It has pine trees. Of course you have to have Christmas. Even though none of the sentiments say anything Christmassy, there's plenty of other sentiments that will work with the pine trees. So I'm really excited about this one. So this is going to be boho blue. We have a piece of white cardstock that is embossed with snowflake sky, and I absolutely love this. We have a deckled circle die. We've got a little bit of Designer Series paper from the Winter Meadow DSP. You could also use the back side. So you can see how these colors are all going to go together. You're getting some ribbon to make a really pretty bow, and I bet you can't wait to see what card I'm going to share with you next. So let me grab the card, and we are going to do something a little Christmassy and fun. So this is our card, and again, I used a different sentiment so that I could take advantage of the blue spruce, elegant blue spruce. So I used a sentiment from the Greetings of the Seasons. Greetings of the Seasons. This is For You, I didn't write that down. I don't think I wrote that down. No, yes, I did use Greetings of the Season stamp set for that one, as mentioned earlier. So this is what we've got for this one. Lots of blue and pretty, and I absolutely adore it. So let's just go ahead and put down whatever we can to get this one going. And then I'm going to show you the magic of the blue spruce. So when I shared the pine tree last week, of course I was all green. It was green, 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 all, you know, like lots of beautiful green. I have green all over the place for the Card Maker Club. So let's review quickly. Pine trees, green, right? Pine tree, green. So I went green. I did another sample of green. So you can see here there's differences depending on what ink colors you use. You can have, you know, more traditional greens. You can have more bluish color greens. So there's lots of different green colors here. But we're going blue for this one. So I'm really excited to bring you blue. Now on this we're going to do a little bit of sponging before we put it on here. And I really think I'm going to stick with this because I find it gorgeously beautiful. So let's do our sponging. We'll bring in the matte again for the messy. We're going to bring in boho blue ink and the blending brush. Oh, I didn't tell you ink colors for this one. I apologize. We have Night of Navy, Blueberry Bushel, white, and then this one is boho blue. So we're going we're in the blue family today. So I hope that this card does not give you the blues. I think this card makes me happy. So we're starting with boho blue, and this time we are focusing on just the outside edges. So we're just going to kind of go around. We'll be adding some other things here onto this cardstock, so we don't have to cover the entire thing. It just gives us a little bit of a darker piece of cardstock from our card base. So it's not as monotone, right? So we're just going to kind of go along like this, little swirly pattern. We should be good right now with boho blue. So let me set this aside so that we can take a look at our designer series paper. So this is going to go on here in strips, and depending on what you get, you may be able to puzzle piece together and put them in the correct order so that it just has the gap in between, which is really cool. I absolutely love this. And then if you wanted to use the back would work with these colors as well. So check it out, see which one you like best. And we're going to mat these on here, and they don't have to be perfect. Mine are not perfect. In case you were wondering why I say they don't have to be perfect, mine were not. I put them on, I adjusted one, and I'm like, yep, but it still looks really pretty, and I think that's okay. So there may be more on one side, less on the other. It's okay. We add enough elements. My goal is to always add enough elements to the card that if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter, because something's going to cover it up, detract from any imperfections that you think you made. And I say you think you made because really your recipient may not have a clue that something is not as you intended. So that's always the best part about the handmade card as well. So we're going to pop this layer up with dimensionals onto our snowflake sky embossing folder. This is a really great one. I'm so glad that they kept this one around. When I put this on, I should have mentioned I keep the bigger snowflakes in the looser sky here at the top, and I keep the pile up of the snow toward the bottom. I feel like it comes this way. If you want it to go this way, you certainly can. It can look heavier at the top, lighter at the bottom. So that's a decision that you make with your embossed piece. We're going to pop this on right about here. And we have, here's some bones of our card, just like this, right? And now we're going to add the stamped image of For You, which I did take from the Greetings of the Season stamp set. We're going to stamp this in Night of Navy, if I can find. All of these blues are here, and it's like tricking me. This is Night of Navy. So once again, I'm going to ask you to stamp over to the right so that we have room for our tree. So For You is going to come quite a ways over this way, just like that. And I can see that my Y didn't quite come up. I kind of lifted my stamp just a skosh too early. If I find my Night of Navy marker, which is right here, I can grab this little writing end, the kind of the nub end, and I'm just going to fake it. There we go. And it's fixed. So it is nice to have the markers. I know sometimes I'm always about the blends. I love the blends, but I feel like the markers are my backup for boo-boos like that, where I want to just have this same color ink in the markers, same color ink in the stamp pad, so you can use them kind of interchangeably. So we fixed it and it's all good. No harm, no foul. So I'm not going to put this on just yet because we want to do our tree, and I know you are excited about the tree. So let me bring over the big pine tree. We're using the larger size one, and we're going to stamp it first in Night of Navy. So I know you're scribbling notes down right now because you're like, you all have ordered this bundle and you cannot wait to use it. And you're like, what order are we doing this in? We're starting with Night of Navy, and we're going to get a nice coverage on our big tree, and we're going to stamp it right here on this white cardstock that's in your kit. We will be die cutting it, so don't worry about like lining it up perfectly or getting it exactly straight. You know, these things happen, right? So here is step one, and the eye is always very tricky because I feel like I look at that and it could be like a really dark green. So we're just going to check this out. All right, I'm checking to make sure you guys are still hanging out with me. It looks like we're good. All right, now we start the masking because that's where the colors are going to come in. So we're going to grab out our pine tree masks. So on the pine tree masks, if you missed my demo last week, you have 3 masks. One set here is going to do the small tree, and one set's going to do the big tree. So we're doing the big tree first, and what we're looking for here is ABC. So we had 1, 2, 3 on our deciduous tree. So we have ABC. It's really hard probably for the camera to pick it up. It's right here where the notches are in case you're wondering. And then we're just going to line this up. So we start with A. We are going to put this down here over top of our stamped image. Kind of line it up best you can is my motto. And we're going to go on with boho blue. So we're going boho next. So we're going to open up our boho. We're going to bring in boho blending brush. I'm going to hold this over top of here nicely, and we're going to boho this, and we're just, I love how quick this goes together. And to be honest, I was like, man, these could be Christmas cards this year. I feel like if you stamped a bunch of these and just kept going, you would just be able to get these done really quickly. So that is step one. Look at my blue tree. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh. I love the blue tree. I'm going to lift this up a little bit, see if my camera can pick up on that. So some of the ink is shaded a little bit differently. There's some lighter colors in there, which is so cool. Absolutely love how these work. All right, now we're going to go on to mask B. So we're going to put B over top. So B is going to come on here. We're going to line it up, and our next color is going to be blueberry. So I went in a kind of a funny order, right? So I started with Night of Navy, then I did boho, then I did blueberry. So you don't necessarily need to go dark, light. You can mix it up a little bit. I feel like the bigger color that you're going to see is going to be, you want it maybe to be a little bit lighter, and then the next color is going to be darker. So that's why we're doing blueberry next. So let me reline this up. I messed it up as I lifted it back off to kind of explain the method of my madness here. So we're going to do blueberry. This tree is sounding so pretty and delicious. All right, blueberry, here we go, blending brush. And I think I messed up my mask again, but we're gonna just fix it here. Blueberry. Yep, we're gonna go for it. Okay, blueberry, here we go. So now we're adding on the blueberry, and this is a very dark color, right? So it's a darker blue than the last one that we just used. I'm gonna just pick this up before I show you where we're going with this. This is so fabulous. Okay. Oh my gosh. Guys, I hope you're loving this as much as I am. I just think this is so beautiful. So there's 3 colors right there. If you wanted to stop, you're like, oh my gosh, this could not get any more beautiful. You can totally stop right now. You don't have to come through and add another color. But I did want to see what it would look like if we added a little bit of white. So let me show you here if you can see the difference or not. This has a little bit of white, and the craft white ink is going to kind of blend in, rub off a little bit almost. So it just adds a little bit of different texture almost to it. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. What you could do if you really wanted white to show is you could use this last mask, do your Versamark ink, some white embossing powder, and you'd have a lot more white. You could also use the paste, the embossing paste. You can add the embossing paste, and then you're going to get a really thick texture of white on here. But you know, to keep things kind of simple, I didn't want to go super crazy with, you know, 4 cards in and expect you to, you know, have all the things on hand. We're going to do a little bit of white just for fun. So I've got the craft ink here. I'm going to remove probably a dog here from my white dauber. So I just have a white dauber, and I'm just going to daub in to my white craft ink, hold this on here, and I'm just going to daub this on. So hopefully you can see that there's white. You can see the white. You can see the white on the mask. You're going to be able to see it quite a bit on the tree when I first lift it up. As it dries in, you won't see it quite as much, but how cool is that? So just imagine maybe embossing powder instead to add that little bit of white. You could add silver. The silver and blue would be really divine, I think. So I can see, I mean, I've been really excited to play with these, all of the stamps from, and all the dies and all the masks from this set. I can see a lot more play going on. So here's, you know, again, the green and blue. I did, this does need to dry a little bit, so I die cut one out earlier today. And this little white will kind of blend in. So it's sad that once it's dry, you don't see it. You don't see the texture and the uniqueness of it. It kind of pools in, it soaks into the paper, but it does wash a little bit, so it does leave a little bit of a white wash to it, which is still really fun. So this is going to go on our card right like this, so we can go ahead and finish putting this one together. What I did is I actually put a couple of dimensionals here, because my circle is going to hang off the piece here that's already kind of up and over. So I'm going to just add a couple of dimensionals on the side. I'll take off these backing papers, and then we'll add some adhesive here, right here, like so. Did I do that right? I did. Oh my goodness, here we go. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this on here, right about here. So here you're just basically, deckled circle has those little edges. So you just want to line up your letters here, right? Your stamped image, so that it's pretty. Now I did put this on this tree. I felt like this was fancy enough that it should have maybe 3 more dimensionals to it. So we're going to put this on with dimensionals 2. Now, of course, at home, optional, right? When you're doing these kits, you do however many dimensionals you want. So this is going to come on here. We don't want to cover up our sentiment, so we're just being careful to not do that. So just like that would be lovely. And you're getting a nice piece of about 12 inches of ribbon that I'm going to send with this card kit. Normally I don't do both, you know, embellishments and ribbon, but I also pre-made a bow earlier because I thought, you know what, I don't want to struggle at 9 o'clock at night as I'm finishing this card class up to make a bow. So I've already made a bow, but it does need to be trimmed a little bit. We're going to use tear and tape to adhere it. So I'd like to just push it onto the back of there. Hopefully I can get that started. And then it leaves a nice sticky spot right there to kind of put our bow on. We're kind of doing it sideways here a little bit onto our paper. Or maybe I might leave it just like that and not trim it down. No. We probably need to bring in the ribbon scissors just a little bit because we want to go this way. And we want to go this way. So my bows, my tails here are a little bit oppositely cut from the diagonal that I want them to be cut at. So we're going to do that. Actually, it does look a little bit better trimmed up. So that was a good decision to make. All right, so the last little gem that we have here is going to be the boho blue. So let me move this ribbon out of the way and find my tool here so I can do this. So this is another card that I just wasn't quite sure where exactly I wanted to put the little embellishments. So I put a couple there, and then I brought one kind of over here, a little triangle that way. So the boho blue, of course, is perfect for this card. Absolutely stunning, right? So this is just a really pretty a way that you can use this for Christmas. Now, if you're not a fan of the blue and you want to go traditional green, all you have to do is change up the colors on your card, right? So you're changing into maybe a green color, you're finding a different designer series paper, a different ribbon, and you could have a really nice, this could say besides for you. You could make this say something much more seasonal, but this is card number 4 in our class tonight. So I hope you guys are loving it. Let's take a peek at all of the cards we did so we can kind of go back through. We have, this was our 3rd card, and I need to know your favorite. I always like to ask your favorite. This one we did a little swapping on, so we did change that one up a little bit. And then this was our very first card right here, the thank you with the Blackberry Bliss. So there's a look at your cards. Hopefully you love all of them, but I would like to know which one is your absolute favorite. Let me pop over and check on messages again. Thanks guys for loving it. Oh my gosh. So the blue, the blue spruce, the winter card, as much as we're not ready for that season, the colors are absolutely beautiful. So I was really excited to be able to bring you another class with the Frosted Forest Bundle because I feel like I can continue to just, and it's funny that not every stamp set and die set and bundle is one that I constantly want to work with, but this is one that I'm not done yet. I feel like I can make more and more and more. So this one, even though it's a really expensive bundle, the value here is amazing because you do get the masks as well. And then let's see, Lori says she loves them all. I love them all too, and they're all just different enough, but they do also make a really nice set of cards. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and checking them out. Now remember, if you guys want this card class, you just put your order in for the week. Hi Flo, 1 and 4. I would say I agree, 1 and 4 for sure. Those are probably my favorites too. I really like the colors in both of them. So you have the whole week to get your orders in to get this card class in the mail. And on Thursday, as mentioned, I really am not done playing with these yet. I will be making one more card to share with you. It'll be in your weekly newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, make sure you get signed up. Every Thursday, I drop a free card recipe, pictures of it, how to assembly, because I'm not actually going to do it live with you. So I do add maybe 4 or so pictures that kind of give you direction along the way in case you're like, what is she talking about in her directions? So you have all of those good things to look forward to, as well as enjoying the rest of the week. Now remember, if you still have those coupons, your bonus coupons from July, you need to use them. Make sure that you add enough to your cart, take the coupons off, and still have that $40 minimum for the card kits, $50 for the kits and the embellishment. And then you're getting even more for free, really, because you're getting those $5 coupons in, but you're still getting supplies and you're still getting card kits and embellishment from me. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. I can't wait to read the rest of your comments and how much you enjoyed this card class. Looks like we went a little long, but there was a lot to this class. So I'm going to say goodnight to you. Have a wonderful evening, and until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye, everybody.